The Supreme Court is reviewing whether President Biden has the legal power to end a program nicknamed the Remain in Mexico policy.
The migrant protection protocols require asylum seekers and other non-Mexican border crossers to stay in Mexico until their U.S. immigration hearings. President Biden struck down that policy, but Texas and Missouri sued and won. Now the Supreme Court is looking at separation of powers and whether Congress or the executive branch has authority. Fox 4's Sean Rabb listened to the oral arguments at the Supreme Court today. Sean.
Yeah, and the United States government argued that, first of all, Mexico doesn't have to go along with that kind of policy, and we can't force that. Secondly, they said, and perhaps more important, this is a threat to the power of the executive branch. But the state of Texas argued, look, Congress has put these kind of regulations in place, and the administration is compelled to follow them. This case was fast-tracked to the Supreme Court. The justices could issue their ruling as early as June, but today was a day for questions and answers. Remain in Mexico, a President Trump policy that sent illegal immigrants back across the border until their immigration hearings. President Biden stopped the program known as MPP when he took office. Texas and Missouri sued, and the Fifth Circuit sided with the states. Texas Solicitor General Judge Stone argued the matter is already settled.
The Fifth Circuit concluded that the executive was not permitted to rescind MPP.
U.S. Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar disagreed, pointing to Congress taking no action.
And I think that if Congress had intended to override the executive's ordinary discretion that it enjoys with respect to that kind of foreign policy relationship, then at the very least it should have made that intent express in the statute. The problem that we're trying to address here, and the thing we're asking the court to do, is reverse the Fifth Circuit's flawed conclusion that this just isn't an agency action at all.
Most of the high court's questions for the state of Texas. Justice Elena Kagan wondered whether Texas was trying to do what it shouldn't.
To basically tell the executive how to implement its foreign and immigration policy. And that's what this does.
The government argued no administration has detained every illegal immigrant and that it would be a significant public benefit to release into the U.S. those who pass criminal background checks while detaining the more dangerous.
Nothing in how this provision has been interpreted before, at least through those regulations, suggests that it would be a significant public benefit simply to not detain individuals. And that would be a very strange result to consider, given that Congress has made an unequivocal mandate that it wants detention. It doesn't just prefer it, the way petitioners have suggested. It has unequivocally mandated that result.
If the government is right about what significant public interest is, and that prioritizing the beds, based on who would be dangerous, who would be the worst aliens to permit into the United States, right? If they're right about that, if they're right about significant public interest, you lose.
No, Your Honor, in part because this injunction rests critically on what the United States would do if it rescinded MPP.
Constitutional attorney David Cole sums up the complications, whether the policy stands or not.
The underlying problem's been the same forever, that we just can't lock up everybody that comes to the border. And so we have to do something else. And Congress has sketched out some broad guidelines in the statutes, but Homeland Security has to kind of make it up a little bit and make up its own regulations to fill in those gaps.
So this is a big test for the Biden administration going forward in terms of not just border policy, but the executive branch and the current president's ability to overturn something put in place by a previous administration. We'll see what the high court does.